You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and happy Friday, or maybe it's happy Saturday, wherever you are. Welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching life's amazing journey. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. And the star of our show, a man who needs no introduction, entrepreneur, entertainer, author, a man who has changed so many lives. I could go on and on, but let's bring him out right now. Coach extraordinaire. How are you, John Christian? Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Lovely to be here again. And
it's lovely to have you. It's always nice to see you, and you're always just so full of life and positivity. How do you do it, John?
Yeah, practice. Actually, I mean, I genuinely feel good most of the time. Like anybody, I have my ups and downs and my challenges, but because I've spent so long, understanding the mechanisms of how all that stuff works, what takes you up, what takes you down, then I just practice being in the driving seat, so when I find my energy going down, I do the things that I've learned along the way from my master mentors and teachers, both spiritual and also corporate trainers, etc. So I apply my practices and they work. It's like anything. It only works if you do it.
That's right. Putting in the hard work makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't feel like work anymore.
No, it's that lovely thing, once you get the snowball rolling, then the grace starts to come with it, But it's the kindergarten steps in the beginning that are most difficult for all of us. It's like, like I wake up in the morning and I'm going, go to the gym, and my body goes, oh. And I just tell myself, you're going to feel better when you go. You always do. So I get up and I understand the nature of the physicality. It's the slowest thing to get motivated. So you can have a nice, bright, enthusiastic idea, but actually getting the body to pick itself up and go for it is the harder part for all of us. It's doing the physical application, and that's our shortfall, really. We've got lots of great ideas and everything, but the actual application of them is the effort. Yeah. Very true.
Very true. I shared with you and our guests backstage that I've been really exhausted since I went away for the weekend, and I refuse to just take a seat, if you know what I mean. So what I do is I go out and walk 8 miles. I'll go to the gym. I'm like, no, we are going to push forward. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's how I do it.
Well, it's a very delicate thing. Once you understand energy and how the mind, body, spirit functions, you have to work with yourself on all of those levels. So for me, the spirit is the breath of life. And if we're not breathing properly, obviously instantly we lack energy. And many of us don't breathe properly because we've just not been schooled in how to do that. So when we're feeling mentally or physically tired, very often what people will do is shallow breathe or not even notice how they're breathing at all. So they don't put the energy back in the tank, if you like, to start to get that burst to rebuild. So this is why I call my training programs Skills for Life Balance, and my website is a Life Balance Portal, because of all the years I've spent, learning the hard way very often through martial arts and yoga and all those meditation and mindfulness, what it means to be mindful enough of how to drive this body energetically, how to be in it in a good way.
Yes, thank you so much, because we all need that. And I think people should reach out to you immediately by going to www.lifebalanceportal.com. This man is changing lives every day. We have a very special guest, Dr. Philip Chan, who is backstage. But before we bring him out, and by the way, he has helped me so much. I can't even tell you what an amazing man this is. Amazing. He's always putting himself out there for other people. And I'm glad that he's our guest today. But would you do us the lovely honor of singing something for us today?
You know, I'd really love to do that, and especially this song, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Dr. Philip Chan on this show. And he was telling me that one of his favorite songs that touches his heart is Smile.
Oh.
So I've hopefully got it together enough to dedicate this song to our guest today.
All right, to Dr. Philip Chan. I'm going to go backstage, and I look forward to hearing this beautiful song.
Okay. Oops. I'm hoping this is gonna come on. I have a connection problem. Sorry. Got to start the track. There we go. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your fears and sorrows. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile. What's the use of crying? You find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile. What's the use of crying? You find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Don't forget to smile, everybody.
Woo! I was singing right along with you and smiling at the same time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was beautiful. We do have a comment from Alexia Willen. Good afternoon, John. Always
Alexia,
positive.
Yes. It's a very dear friend of mine who comes to our meditation evenings on Zoom regularly.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think I received an email today from Alexia. I'm not sure,
Yes,
but I think I did.
Alexia is going to be one of our guests.
Oh, lovely. That's fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. We are going to take a quick break. Before we do, John, would you like to give our audience a little teaser about Dr. Philip Chan?
Dr. Philip Chan, I have to say, in all honesty, is one of the most humble men I've ever encountered. So much so that he will not lay claim to his accolades, which are a list as long as my arm. So I'm looking forward to Philip having the chance this time to not avoid letting us know of all the things he's achieved in his life on his life's amazing journey.
Fantastic. We'll take a quick break, and then we have to remember to ask him, when does he sleep? Because the man is working. I get contact from him, like, is he still awake? What does he do? It's amazing the energy level he has. So we'll take a quick break, and we're going to hear from Diane Floyd Boehm, and then we'll be right back. Stay with us here on Life's Amazing Journey.
Cool.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydboehm.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydboehm.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching Life's Amazing Journey, and the star of our show, John Christian, just provided us a great reason to think about smiling and being happy, being positive. That was our first segment. We had a beautiful song performed by John. And now in our second segment, we are welcoming Dr. Philip Chan to the program. Our first time. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Dr. Jacalyn, and thank you, welcome to me on your show, and also for your invitation, John, which I very much appreciate for a little guy like me.
You see, so humble.
He is so humble. And by the way, I want our audience to know that many of the guests that are on our 15 to 18 live broadcasts every week are thanks to Dr. Philip Chan. So I'm really grateful to you.
It's a pleasure. And also, John, thank you for a fantastic singing of a brilliant song by Charlie Chaplin. Is definitely one of my favorite songs, especially through very dark times. And somehow that, beside the tears, it's the tears of kind of wipe clean the situation sometimes. So thank you for the song, and the words are fantastic. So if anyone don't know the song, Google it and look at the lyrics. It's wonderful.
Yes, it was Charlie Chaplin's film that he directed that it came from. The lyrics were inspired by.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Yeah, 1937, I think the film was. Hollywood movie, 36, and it was called Modern Times. And it's this lovely story actually where Charlie Chaplin was reflecting on the changes in the world and how he was struggling with them and everybody else was struggling with them, and himself in the last scene in the film, he and his co-hosts were sitting on the grass verge, and they get up to embark on a new life's amazing journey with one another, like the yellow brick road, and he points to her lips to suggest you should smile.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Dr. Chan, as John mentioned in the beginning of the show, your list of accomplishments is so long. We don't want to leave any of them out, but you are definitely known as the 10-second mathematician. And if you could share a little bit about what that is, and then also talk to us about, you're very much into philanthropy and helping other people as a coach, you're a speaker, you're a connector, a networker. You've earned numerous doctorates and awards. You are an author. But I'd love to start out with the mathematician piece and then work our way back, if that's okay.
Yes, I think we're going to go back a moment in time. When I was at school, I was actually bottom in every single subject, including mathematics. So the fact that today I'll have a title of Dr. Chan is really unbelievable. It's something impossible, really. There's been many tears because when you are the bottom of the class in everything, it's not a very nice feeling. I was in set 10 in every subject. And then one of my former teachers, Mr. Roland Duff, who I'm always eternally grateful for, and also Mrs. Jean Wood, who actually is my English teacher. And Mr. Duff says two things that really helped transform me. The first thing he said, if you honestly don't understand something, there's no such thing as a stupid question. That makes sense. But the second thing he said to me somehow really resonated with me, and he said, it's better to feel stupid for 5 minutes than stay stupid for the rest of your life. And something tweaked in here, and then for the next 2 domestic terms, school terms, I was bugging my teacher to death. And because I was so scared to ask questions, because I thought, if I ask a question, people will think I'm stupid. The reality is actually by not asking question, I was stupid. And that broke the ice. And from then on, for 2 terms, I just bugged my teacher to death, and amazing things started to happen and transform. Today, I still don't know exactly how it happens. And then I actually went from the bottom to set 2 in most subjects. I never got to set 1 in any subject, not even in mathematics. One of my passions, one of my passion is that. Sorry.
He's answering the phone.
No, I'm.
John, are you calling him? No.
Don't worry, Philip. It's God calling. It's God calling. Don't worry.
Yeah. One of my passions is actually history, and then I was doing a lot of research. In my day, there was no internet, so I would get a whole anything, journals, books. I would go to spend hours in the libraries, and I discovered all these wonderful methods that's been around for hundreds of years. Then I started doing it, and then all of a sudden I was showing to my friends, and they said, "Wow, how did you do that?" So over a long period of time, I basically resurrected a lot of the forgotten techniques, and I just put a little bit of showmanship to it. The title 10-second maths expert is not actually about me, it's about my students. So once I share the technique with you or any of my students, they can do that within 10 seconds very quickly. Over the last 45 years, I've run about 19 workshops a year. I have anything from 50 to 600 people coming. And normally I get a result between 30 seconds and 10 minutes. So each technique stands alone, but also there's a synergy between the techniques. You can actually combine the techniques as well. So I get a very quick result. So over a period of time, people think, this dumb little kid was actually quite clever. And it's like anything that I say, when you have someone who believes in you, all of a sudden that changed the complexion, the attitude. And I'm eternally grateful to Mr. Duff, because if it wasn't for him, my 10-second mass expo would never become today, because he had me so much on the way. In the Chinese culture, success in academics is very important. So therefore, when someone like me, who's actually was bottom and not very clever, that doesn't stand very well. I can remember there was a mock exam, and in order to pass the mock exam, then the school would pay for my exam entry, and I missed the mock exam pass mark by a few marks, and I was just dreading it, going home saying, "Mum, Dad, I did not make the grade. You have to pay for my exam." And I was scared stiff. I don't. In my days, if you actually don't achieve the exam, you are not only a family disgrace, you're a social disgrace in your community. And in my days, you also get cane. Wow. The Chinese dumplings with the meat in. That's made of all the little boys, who failed the exam. That's the meat from the bottom.
Wow.
So I was dreading, and I was pleading with the head of mass, and he said, "Well, sorry, you didn't work hard enough, so please go away." But Mr. Duff heard me and the conversation, and he said, "Now, how serious are you?" I said, "Look, I will work my guts out to make it." So he actually spoke up for me, and I was led to sit the exam. So I didn't have to go home to tell my mum and dad, "Hey, I did not make the grade." So from then on, in those days in England, we have the O level exam, which is equivalent to the GCSE exams today in year 11, or around about age 16. And I scraped through, barely with a grade C, only a few marks. And then for some crazy reason I got in my head, when I applied for college and university, I wanted to go for a really good university. I picked Durham as my first choice, Christchurch, Canterbury as my second, and Oxford as my third. And in those days, there was no guidance. I don't even know why I put down Oxford, because it just sounds good. I thought everyone said Oxford and Cambridge are they're great places, But then when my friend discovered I put down Oxford as my third choice, they said, "You dumb twit. If you don't put them first, that is a snub to them. You will never get in." So Durham University turned me down. Christchurch, Canterbury turned me down. And I thought, I had it now. But surprisingly, a few weeks later, I had a letter saying, "Please come for an interview at Oxford." And wow, I thought, wow, that's amazing. When I got there, I spent half the day with the vice principal. However, all he talked about was Chinese food and Chinese takeaway. I thought, what is going on here? I thought that is just a polite way of saying, "Hey, thank you, but no thank you." So when I went away, I thought, oh no, no one's going to accept me. I was very, very depressed. But surprisingly, I got a letter through saying, "You've been accepted on no condition." And I said, what does it mean, no condition? They would actually accept me. Even if I didn't pass my exam, they would accept me. So how that has happened, I got no idea. So I had to thank Mr. Duff very much, and also Mrs. Jean Wood, who tried her best to help me with English, but it was a tough job. So thank you. And both of my teachers, if they're alive today, they will probably be around about 130 years old. So if you're still around, thank you very much. And if you're not, so thank you very much. From my heart, I'll be eternally grateful, because if it wasn't for those teachers who were encouraging me, I would not be here today as I am.
Wow. That's amazing. I think it takes a lot of courage to share your journey, and I really appreciate it, because there are so many people. If you think back to when you were in school, John, when I was in school, people in the back, they're always in the back row. And yeah, I was one of them too. And I thought I was sitting back there because I didn't want to ask any questions, because I didn't understand what was going on. And eventually you have to move to the front row, because you have to get engaged with what they're talking about and ask questions. We have a comment from Cindy, little smiley face with love. Very nice. So go ahead.
No, I was, what I love about Philip and his story, because, as a coach, I work with children and adults, and so many people are wounded from those early days in the education system. So, in having spoken to Philip, what I like is what his life's journey has taught him is clearly how to establish such a rapport with his students that they feel safe enough to learn. Because I know in my own experience, learning was hard for me because I was so afraid to ask the question. When I look back on that, I was holding my breath because I'm afraid I'm going to get criticized, I'm going to get laughed at. Because I was like Philip, I was bottom of the bottom class through school. Yeah, I still can't do maths, but so it's a lesson for you, your class for you, Philip.
Well, in
Be
fact,
honest.
this book called Fresh Start, and this is the book I dedicated to Mr. Duff.
Let me spotlight you. How to do mental calculations in 10 seconds or less for adults. Jet Set Learning Series, Fresh Start Learning.
Yeah. So when I became a teacher, one of the things I said to myself, I don't want my students to ever feel the way I had felt in the school,
Great.
because the song "Smile," I go home every night and I would cry my eyes out to bed to sleep. I wouldn't, because I wouldn't let anyone show my feelings to anybody. So I go home literally every night crying, for a long, long time. And I always said to them, I don't want any of my students to feel that way. And if they do, I want to shorten that time frame to minimal.
Wonderful.
That's really
Wonderful.
fantastic. When you work with your students, how do you set the environment for them to feel comfortable immediately? Do you share your story with them, or how do you break the ice, so to speak?
Absolutely, because people only see the end result; they don't see the beginning journey sometimes. And also sometimes if you have the so-called the title 10-second maths expert, people just feel that you're naturally born gifted. That's not the case at all. You know, it was a long journey, hard slog. There's been many a tears, frustration. Sometimes when my teacher said a normal homework, my other friends would do it in the normal time, but it would take me to 3 to 6 hours sometimes. I, as a pupil at school, almost from age 8 onwards, I can never remember going to bed before 12 midnight, because I was working so hard, just to make up the ground, and I was behind for so long, you know. Um, so the one thing I said is, I'll share the journey with them. When I do my maths workshop, one of the things I always said is, because I'm the 10-second maths expert in the world, you can never be as good as I am. However, once I share with you what I know, then you will become better than me. And that is what I want my students to be. I never want them to be equal or as good as me. I want them to be better than me. And it's not where you are now that's important, it's where you're going to be by taking the appropriate action or surrounding yourself with the right mentor and the people that will help you in the journey. I was very, very fortunate. As I said, Mr. Roland Duff was in my life. Of the three maths teachers, he was the least able. And sometimes, we do a exam question, and he said, "Actually, I don't know how to do it." He said, but he said, "Don't worry about it. Leave it with me tonight. I will figure out by tomorrow, and I'll show you." Not only did he go away and actually to solve it, but he would then learn to explain in such a way that make it very simple. So I guess he was my role model without actually come to think of it. Yeah, gosh, yeah, he's been my role model for so long subconsciously. So thank you, Mr. Duff, wherever you may be. So if you're up there listening, so thank you.
Philip, you're UNICEF's Children's Champion, advisor and mentor to True Little Heroes, and you have awards for Dignity in Care Champion. You're the champion. So tell us a bit about that. All of those years that you were UNICEF, what were we actually doing then?
Well, I got involved in charity very much early in my life. I was involved in 18 different charities, particularly with Oxfam, Shelter. The Shelter is is for the homeless people. That was started in 1960, and UNESCO to begin with. I started with UNESCO, and then I had interest in children, so it seemed very natural to actually to leave UNESCO and to join UNICEF, which is for children. I do very simple things. I just, as a supporter, I raise funds for about 35 years. I have a series of lectures that I get invited. For some strange reason, 90% of my speaking engagement is actually with the Women's Institute. So I go and deliver what they choose from the list, whichever talk they want me to give, and then I deliver the talk. Then I leave them the address to send the money to UNICEF directly. So I don't touch any money, so they just do that. So it's a number of things like stress management, relaxation,
Mm.
um, how do you increase your memory ability, teaching your child to increase memory. So I've got this different topics and nutrition as well, and how to prevent and recover from cancer without the use of drugs. So the host of questions, sorry, no, topics. Then they just choose a topic. I just basically go deliver it, and then that's it. So and on the other side, I'll be involved in a lot of campaigns. So it's one side of UNICEF. It's called Gifts in Will. So my job is to encourage people to leave some money in their wills, either a small sum or large amount, so it can fund the work of UNICEF. Now, the old program served 27 countries. The new program, which was started a few years ago, now serves 193 countries. What a lot of people don't know is at any time in a year, there's anything from 50 to 200 disasters somewhere around the world. And UNICEF, after 48-hour response, they will try and get a team to anywhere in the world to help them. So they need to have the funding all year round. So my job as a gift and will person is actually to get the funding. My other role is the children's champion, and that has also to do with issues with children. For instance, one time with the Syrian war, we're trying to reunite over 40,000 children with their family because these children have lost their parents, but they have families members somewhere in the world. But unfortunately, the red tape was preventing them. So we're trying to pressurize and to inform the members of parliament to say there's a very crazy law in the UK that prevents the children from applying from where they are, and instead of having to travel to Europe, going through thousands of miles and kilometers of unknown country and get abused and attacked when they could actually apply in their country. But the laws are such, they can only apply when they get to Europe. So how can you expect a young child, parentless, to be able to make their way to Europe by themselves, and how they didn't even know this exists? So the job of the children's champions is any issues, and every 2 years there's a celebrity football match, and that raises a lot of money. And so we're very pleased that a number of very well-known celebrities in the UK and around the world help us out for that. Also, recently the campaign is about air pollution because it really affects the asthma and so on. So it's a few years ago. I was very surprised. Um, they actually sent up a team to actually video me to be on the official video. I was quite surprised because actually I did the video the day after I came out from an operation to remove a tumor from my wrist. So unfortunately, I wasn't looking very good. I still don't know why, out of all the hundreds of great supporters they got around the world, that I was one of the two people that was chosen. So the job of the UNICEF and champion is actually encouraging other people to be aware of information that will help, with the health and the welfare of the child. So and my job is just trying to recruit a lot more children champion so we can actually share the workload. That's it in that simplicity.
Very good. The other thing that may appear to be in complete contrast to all the things you do is you've been a stuntman.
Well, I was a former gymnast, and one in my younger days, I'm crazy. I also do cliff diving. So
Wow.
in those days, not like today, you got a platform already. In those days, you have to climb up the rock cliff. That takes maybe half hour to climb up, and then it takes 3 seconds to come down from the height, and that's it. So I actually joined my friends Adam Richard. He's the Red Power Ranger, and he's also the official double for Bruce Willis. He's also worked with Jackie Chan for since age 17. Now he's got a stunt company, and he asked me to join his company. So at the moment, I'm not sure what my role is. I'm going to also help to promote him. If he needs me to do some stunt work, then it has to be very simplistic because medically I'm disabled and I should be in a wheelchair. So I'm actually in pain 24/7. So I actually, yeah. So if someone have to do a simple stunt, then someone has to physically lift me out, throw me off the top of the building, then I've got to pretend I'm scared and then just roll under mats. So yeah. So at the moment, I'm waiting to be called to duty at the moment. So if Adam needs me, then I will do it.
Dr. Chan, one thing I want to bring up is in addition to everything that you've accomplished and how much you're helping people, you have a really keen sense of humor. And I'm wondering, that sense of humor that you have, how does that help you keep your positivity and work through challenging situations? Like you were obviously talking a lot about mental health awareness with the Olympics. We're seeing that. So how do you use your sense of humor to help propel you?
I That's a great question, and I've never really thought about it until you just asked. I suppose when you are very young, like me, I'm not very tall now. I'm only 5'1" or 1 meter 51. But also when I was younger, I was very small. So the thing about bullying is an issue, and also not understanding English. I had to find a way to teach myself English. So I think I just laugh things off. So if I've been bullied, I just laugh things off. And the song "Smile." There's so many times, you know, when I get depressed, I say, well, come on, just smile and make a joke of it. So I guess the jokes is a way to release the tension for me, and it's become second nature. I mean, I did tell my mum, I want to become a stand-up comic, but she said, no, don't do that. People will laugh at you. You know.
It's interesting because a number of comedians have shared the fact that they use their comedy to help relieve pain that they have inside or feelings that they can't express.
Mm, that's true.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true because it's a way to release the blocking tension and jokes and a smile. It kind of deflect, because I'm so shy as just a small kid. I don't want people to look at me, so I just want to deflect people from looking at me. So I'll do things to get the tension off me. So to put on a joke or something else. I suppose that's how it all got started, really.
Thank you for sharing that. And B, when we were backstage, I asked you, what would you like the audience to take away from this interview today? And you said that if you can do it, anybody can do it. So as we close out the show, I'd love for you to expand upon that.
Yes, I was trying to encourage my granddaughter Chloe, and eventually she actually came up with this book, Friendships. You know, so you see, so many times we are looking at where we are now. Where we are now is not what we're going to be. So look forward, and also I don't have a thing called goal setting. I call it outcome setting, because there's a subtle difference. Most people who set goals don't achieve it, and you feel downhearted. But when you set an outcome and you don't achieve it, that doesn't feel too bad. So you have another go. So it's important is in your mind, don't look at where you are now, look at where you want to be. And then once you decide where you want to be, then break it down and say, what are the steps I need to get to? Who are the people who could help me? what are the skills I need? And by breaking things down step by step, and then you do one step at a time. There was a great quote: is a success is a journey, not a destination. So even every time you hit one success, then take the next step and next step. So in my case, it was a small steps, small steps, small steps. And also the other thing is, I say, please don't look at where you are now. Look at where you want to be. Dream big and open your mind to the possibilities. Because if I can do it, you can do it much better than I.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. How can people reach you, and who should reach out to you?
The best way to reach out to me is actually on Facebook, on Philip Chan Officials. That's all one word, Philip with one L, or Jet Set Learning. And I've got another one as well with my 16-year-old business partner, Trey Sean, and that's called 10 Seconds to Child Genius. But to reach to me directly, then it's Philip Chan Officials or Jet Set Learning on Facebook.
Thank you. Who would you like to reach out to you?
Well, I want to reach out to as many people as I can. So if you think you're not good enough, that's not true. And I'd love to engage with you, to have a small chat with you. So just engage with me, and because you are much, much better. So whatever thing you're worth, times it by 10,000 times.
Thank you. And for our friends who are on Business Talk Radio on Facebook, it's Philip Chan Official, PhilipChanOfficial, or JET, Jet, SET, Learning. Thank you, Dr. Chan. It's been so lovely having you here. You have to come back on a regular basis and see us, because we love you and we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Jacalyn, and thank you, John, for inviting me.
You're absolutely welcome.
It's been our pleasure. We'll look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Doctor.
Bye then. Thank you, John. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. He's wonderful, isn't he? Thank you so much for bringing him today.
Well, it really amazes me. He's, I think we've discovered that it's what's in the heart that makes your life an amazing journey, not necessarily what's in the head. But, Philip has got a fine balance between all of that. And I really admire that in him. He's achieved so much. I could hardly print out the list of things that he's achieved. And when I invited him on the show, he very humbly said, but I haven't got anything to talk about.
Well, another thing I love about Philip is that there's so many people reaching out to him on a regular basis for so many things, and he always says yes. I've never had him say no. It's incredible. So he's got a beautiful heart, and he's just a real gift. And thank you, Dr. Chan.
He's a rare diamond.
Yes, he is.
Yes, indeed.
So, Mr. Christian, I'm going to spotlight you, and I'd love to know how people can reach you and who should reach out to you.
Yes. Well, people that would like to have the comfort of doing an online training course with me for my coaching, and that's Skills for Life Balance. So there's 10 modules within the first program, and all of them are based around the things that I've learned that have really personally helped me over my life, for my mentors from different walks of life, and then my spiritual mentors as well. I've spent time in India and many different countries studying with spiritual masters that understand our spiritual nature. And I think that's something we really need to reflect on nowadays. So the whole program is about building self-esteem, self-confidence, developing your intuitive intelligence and trusting in it. And there's a real need for that nowadays. And I think as we were discussing here today, like Philip was saying, if you trust that inner voice and that intuition, that's what will keep you driving forward. So lifebalanceportal.com or john@lifebalanceportal.com. Please contact me there. And if you're interested in my music, you can find songs on the website too. And this is a book that I was asked to contribute to with 11 other writers and storytellers, and you can find that on Amazon. And I forgot to actually mention that Philip has 8 best-selling books on Amazon. 8.
Incredible.
And the one you just showed is my free ebook, How to Develop Your Intuitive Intelligence. So to me, the intuitive intelligence is a higher faculty of our intelligence, and it actually supersedes what we currently measure as intelligence nowadays. Again, as Philip was addressing there.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely seeing you today and hearing that beautiful song, Smile, and having Dr. Chan with us. This is a very special show, so thank you.
Yes. Please take some time to have some space and sit down and breathe between the next show.
Well, that's not possible, but maybe at the end of the day I will. So thank you.
I'm going to be coming over to America and making you sit down to breathe together. We'll
Okay. I like that. That sounds wonderful. And I do want to join your meditation. I keep trying to get into that, but there's always a conflict. But I will make it happen. So
yeah, that's the other thing. If anybody wants to join on the Zoom call that we do for the meditation, drop me an email.
Wonderful. Thank you, John, for being here. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
And you too, my dear friend. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We have some other shows coming up. I've got to refer to the clipboard. We've got, right after this, A Better You, Lessons from the Best Coaches, Consultants, and Trusted Advisors, featuring Daphne and Teuda. So that's exciting. Teuda and Daphne. And then we have the variety show in a new time and space. We are bringing it back. I had retired it for the summer, but we are starting back today, and that's right after. And that's with our special guest, Gothstrology. After that, we have Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure. We're welcoming back Sandy Adams. And then later on, we have another A Better You with Dylan Levitt and Hyatt Ives. And finally, presenting Pet Psychic Amina, and our guest is AJ Waniger. You can find out about all of our shows by going to our website, drjacalyn.com. Everything is listed there under Watch Our Shows. Please do go to our YouTube channel so you can watch this interview from the very beginning and watch all of our shows, USA Global TV. Thank you again, John Christian, my friend, and thank you, Dr. Philip Chan, also my friend. So great to have both of you here today. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much. I'll be right back in less than 12 minutes.